Hello, welcome to the new improved Trews. We've got that logo now. Plus I'm topless these days to appeal to more pervert viewers. We're looking at the rise of Islamic extremism on Fox News. Subscribe here to the Trews, not there. Grow up.
Welcome back. All right, you're looking at images right now of a coloring book meant to teach kids about terror threats facing our nation as we get closer to looking at another year since 9/11.
Seems like a damn good idea. Why not get children engaged with the threat of terror through colouring?
Now they're being re-released with new pages so children can understand what ISIS is all about. It's meant to be a teaching tool, so why is the publisher receiving nasty notes from the White House?
Because it's incendiary? Because it's instilling in children with malice aforethought, lifelong prejudices against people. For example, this image here that says the Taliban 5 back to the battlefield. These men described as the Taliban 5 are indistinguishable from a lot of just Muslim men.
Joining us right now is Wayne Bell, founder of the Really Big Coloring Books.
Really big, racist coloring books. No brown.
Wayne, we've talked to you before, and you've gotten blowback before about doing this.
Blowbacks? Shouldn't be on drugs if you're running a children's book company.
Why update?
Well, we're doing this update because ISIS is such an incredibly difficult subject for parents, teachers, and educators.
Don't worry the children with it, maybe. Shit, is there another ISIS attack? Right, gotta go and wake up my 5-year-old. Wake up, darling, wake up. What is it? What is it? It's to do with ISIS. What's ISIS? Is it a lollipop? No, it's a terror threat. It is a colouring book. Do that, I'll talk to you in the morning.
I know that the very first book that we made, the We Shall Never Forget 9/11 book in 2011, was followed up in 2012 by The True Faces of Evil Terror.
It's a lovely range of books, instilling the innocent with grief and hate.
Both of these books teach children a very difficult subject, but the subject matter itself is difficult, not the books. The books are pretty accurate and fair and just straight across the board about terrorism.
I mean, they're pretty accurate and fair and aimed at tiny children, and also the colouring in has been very well designed. There you go, there's the tower. There's fire there. There's the CIA plotting it.
And so during our second book that we published, this one, The True Faces of Evil Terror, we got an email from the White House that basically called the books trash. And what our company is trying to do is very simple. We talk to a lot of parents, teachers, and educators, and people that we talk to.
Look at that image there with it's recreating the siege on Osama bin Laden's compound. I mean, I remember watching that on the news at the time and thought there was a little bit of a celebratory yee-haw, whoop-de-doo attitude about what was really just a sad event. I mean, if you turn news into entertainment, turn terror into this kind of odd sport of polarisation, and then supplement it by providing tools and colouring books, I mean, this same guy I bet would really be negative about what they call mahadras and madaras, those schools that are funded often by Saudi Arabia, where kids are inculcated into extreme Islam. I bet this guy wouldn't be into that, and he's trying to mass produce colouring books to inculcate American children into a lifetime of hate and bigotry.
The parents want terrorism to be taught in schools just like you teach anti-bullying, just like you teach nutrition.
Right, if someone bullies you, you stand up to them and say, sticks and stones, my bread and bones, names never hurt me. Now, if you see a terrorist, or any Muslim, or a homosexual, or anyone different, pick up those sticks and stones and break those bones.
They want something to give to their children to explain to them what this terrorism is all about.
I can't imagine this is a demand-led product. Ain't there no colouring books to explain terror to my children? It's never an impulse I've had. I mean, I haven't got children. But I think if my children ask me about terrorism, I go, bloody hell, it's really complicated. There's a thing called the nation state, like America. Now we have a sort of a military which is sanctioned because of the way that a nation is set up. But as a result of the imperial power that a nation accrues, sometimes we tread on the toes of other organisations or groups that haven't been sanctioned in the same way as nationhood. Then they rise up, but not having access to the same sort of military means that I explained to you earlier. They then sort of use different tools and methods, which are then described by the media as terrorism because it's outside of the strata of sanctioned violence. That sounded quite complicated. Here's a colouring book.
But you also say,
company
Wayne, you
has
do
sent
something,
me-
for example, like the Bo doll, but that's a page in this. Don't you think that's a little sophisticated for 5 to 10-year-olds?
No, it's not sophisticated enough. It's not. Oh my God, this is brilliant. We've found the solution. Bloody hell, actually, it's a bit too complex.
Well, the best way to teach terrorism, according to the parents that we speak to, is to provide materials that they can use in the privacy of their own home.
Let's get home, shut the curtains, lock the door. Terrorism. I want to go outside. Never again.
I mean, kids are pretty smart these days. They have access to instant media. They see things 24/7. And so what better way to teach a child about a very super difficult subject than to give a parent, teacher, and educator a title or a book on that actual subject and let them sit in the privacy of their own home.
Why do you think got to be so private, you weirdo?
And teach those children what is really happening out there.
Like, what would be better than this colouring book is nothing. It's a deterioration. Nothing would be better.
I mean, when kids hear on TV that there's a country called Iraq and children, little boys and girls, are being cut in half because they're Christians, that's a very difficult thing for a child to process.
Don't tell them about it. If you start explaining sodomy to a little boy or the Holocaust, I mean, like, these are all difficult subjects that surely in time could be addressed. And also, why are you focusing on those bits of information? Tell them the entire history of Iraq. It's going to take more than a colouring book.
And so we don't put that
So
in the book, but we do put crucifixions in the book. I mean, we have some fairly graphic images, but nothing over the top.
We don't go over the top. It was a crucifixion in a colouring book for children. That's right. The exact right level of judgment.
So I guess it's stuff that could give kids nightmares, but educate them at the same time. It would help if they just did in the schools. You wouldn't need Crayola's array of colors.
Why don't this bloke on Fox go, hold up, mate, you fucking mental? That guy's not occurring to him to say that.
Brian, we sent these books to all 50 state departments of education across the country, including the federal Department of Education. And we asked them, we says, here's the books that we have. If you don't like what we have, we will make you a custom book about terrorism. Tell us what to do.
Oh, no. Stop making colouring books about terrorism for children. If you want some genuine feedback, just do, I don't know, lambs, cows, flowers, the classics. Look, over here, look, is my mate Nicola's little kid. She's more interested in, like, the hodgehog and pretty standard but quite good flower there. If she started doing, like, Osama bin Laden, Richard Reed, Abu Ghraib, I'd be worried about her. That's when you start worrying about children when that happens. So don't buy or create colouring books to explain terror to children. This is the Topless Trews. Subscribe here. Subscribe here.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the news. If the news was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.